What's the reason? What's the reason why we can't use the local currency? Do you know that?
It's the local currency is for the local people.
Yeah, but I mean,
for foreign.
I get it. But in other countries, everyone can use
Shall
it.
we
Yeah,
get that?
we also buy.
Until the late 1990s in China, they also had a different currency for foreigners.
For foreigners?
Yeah.
Because I've never seen it before in any country.
No, in China.
In China they had.
Yeah.
Okay. But that was a different currency. Or was it just US dollars?
No. So that was renminbi, and there was a renminbi for
foreigners.
And also here in Korea, until the late 1990s or maybe early 2000s, they had the local one and they had the
foreign
one for foreigners.
And now they just chose to. Now we can pay in euro or
Yeah,
RMB some places. Okay.
So if you ever happen to have some North Korean currency, whatever you do not fold it. Why? Because you might crease the leader's face, and in North Korea, it's a serious crime that can land you 25 years in a labor camp. And the only place where you can buy North Korean currency abroad is this tiny coffee shop in the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. But the exchange rate is 4 times higher than the market rate.
The country of North Korea is one of the most sanctioned in the world, yet it still has an army of over 1 million individuals as well as nukes, and there's a really interesting reason why the country has been able to fund itself. And back in 2017, North Korea faced a huge issue. The UN sanctioned its coal, iron, as well as seafood, representing a loss of $1 billion every single year. And to make matters worse, trade from China fell from roughly $3 billion per year to only $250 million, so the country had to think fast. And thus came the big idea, cybercrimes. In fact, the country stole roughly $1.4 billion in crypto back in 2024, and this money is then used to fund its nuclear programs, economy, and even military. And their method is pretty straightforward, posing as recruiters or simply IT contractors. And once they gain access to a company's network, they often take the fund and move it to North Korea. And some of the biggest hits include the Central Bank of Bangladesh, which was roughly $81 million, as well as Axie Infinity for $620 million. In addition to this, the country has been producing super notes since the 1980s. These are near identical copies of the $100 US bill. And other sources include the export of labor, as well as simply ordinary citizens sending money back to North Korea.
Hello, thank you for 1,000 watchers. You're all lovely. To celebrate, here's a 1001 North Korean note from 2018. This note contains an overprint, meaning it's been printed once with a standard design, and then had an additional layer printed on top. In this case, it celebrates 70 years of North Korean independence. On the rest of the front of the note is the supposed birthplace of Kim Il-sung in Myeongdong-dae. On the reverse is Samji Lake, a tourist attraction in the north of the country. 1001 is about £1. It should be noted, by the way, that while the overprint took place in 2018, the original printing is listed just here as 2008.
So I want to tell you that the lineup that you see over there is the only location in the world, wait for it, to buy North Korean currency, banknotes. It's a useless currency or banknote if you're going anywhere in the world in terms of an actual value, but apparently it makes for good souvenir, and we know that apparently this is real. Meanwhile, when you buy from other places like online, it could be fake notes, so people are now lined up to buy them.
Guys, we're currently in the city of Rason in North Korea, and behind me you can see the Golden Triangle Bank, and I actually just went inside the bank account and opened a North Korean bank account, and I got a bank card, and we also changed some North Korean won, which looks really, really cool. This is the currency of North Korea. It's the North Korean won, and it has one of the craziest denominations that I've ever seen in my life. You have here a 10 won note, and there a 50,000 won note, and we're currently in Rason. This is the city of Rason in North Korea. Greetings from country number 193.
December 1989, Central Bank of the Philippines, Manila. A stack of $100 bills lands on a teller's desk during what should be a routine exchange. The man handing them over is calm, well-dressed, and claims to represent a foreign investor. Nothing out of the ordinary. The bills look perfect, feel perfect, and pass every test the bank throws at them. But something makes the employee freeze. Maybe it's the serial numbers, too clean, too uniform. Instead of accepting them, the teller quietly passes the bills to his supervisor and starts asking questions.
Sir, where did you get these notes?
But the man's calm suddenly vanishes. Without a word, he turns and walks away briskly, then breaks into a run, disappearing before security can reach him. That's when things get serious. The suspicious bills get packed and shipped halfway across the world to the U.S. Secret Service headquarters in Washington, D.C. There, the bill becomes case number C-14342. Now, imagine investigators going full forensic on those bills, using every tool in...
On a DMZ tour, I purchased North Korean money at Imjinggik Park in South Korea. The official currency of the DPRK is the North Korean won, with the currency code being KPW. The KPW was made the official currency of North Korea on December 6, 1947, when it replaced the Korean yen that was in circulation during the Japanese occupation of Korea during World War II.
This is the only place that you can buy North Korean money at this coffee shop just right here. So this is an awesome souvenir. You won't find this anywhere else.
I've been collecting coins and currency for nearly 2 decades. I have a gigantic collection, and I kind of just want one of everything. But one item I thought I'd never be able to hold is North Korean currency. But thanks to the Pawn Man, I finally scored some. For me, being able to add this stuff to my collection is basically priceless. You really can't buy it online, especially not from a mainstream source like Amazon or eBay. All North Korean coins and currency are owned by the North Korean government. But taking them out of the country is a crime. Thankfully, possessing them isn't. So somebody had to smuggle these out of North Korea and ship them to the United States. And if that person was caught, they'd be subject to North Korea's 3-generation law, where not only you, but your parents as well as your children are punished for your crimes. And if you get caught bringing money out of the country, you're probably in prison for life, or worse. If you're interested in some North Korean currency, hit up Pawn Man. He's a great dude, I've done a lot of business with him, and nobody else carries this stuff.
These dollar bills weren't made in the US, and the US suspects they were made in North Korea. One of these bills is a super dollar, or sometimes it's referred to as a super note or super bill. Super dollars are $100 bills that are counterfeit, but they are so good that the Secret Service's own document and currency examiners had a hard time figuring out if these were fake. Sometimes they would even fly under the radar even with them. They would say it was real and it wasn't. So according to the US, super dollars have been made by unknown organizations or unknown governments. They suspect North Korea more than they do organized crime because the machine that's used to print this money and all the materials would cost you around $100 million just to start, and they feel like that ROI is not worth it for organized crime, but it is for North Korea. Why would North Korea do something like this? Well, the US estimates that they made between $15 to $25 million per year every year just from counterfeit money. These were mainly in circulation in the 80s and 90s, and they were found all over the world. They were used by Hezbollah, the IRA. A lot of them were found in South Korea and the Philippines as well. A lot of these super dollars mysteriously vanished, although there are some that are still in circulation to this day. In 2013, they came out with the new $100 bill, which is a lot harder to replicate. Follow for more.